All right, Rocket fans, I hope you're ready for an exciting week of football, and we're going to tell you about what you can expect here at Rocket Stadium on Friday night for the annual Coal Bowl. We've dubbed this the Coal Bowl for many years because so many of these guys who have boys on the team or interest in the team, their fans, a lot of these guys work together in the coal mines over the years, and it's a big game, Coach Thompson. It's a big game for you too, because this is a school you coached at.
Yeah, you know, having been over there, you see all the different families that work in the coal mines from both communities and the kids that they support on the team. So it's a big game for both teams as far as just going back to work and having bragging rights.
Yeah, so. And of course we don't have any coal mining in Crittenden County anymore. However, over the years, we've had a number of people over there working in those coal mines, and it's fun. It's a fun week. As you say, a lot of people know one another. And hey, Union County's coming in here undefeated. This is a team we lost to last year, 33-6. They kind of jumped on us early and manhandled us a little bit, but things we hope will be different this year. The Rockets come into this football game ranked 7th. We took a little bump up this week, Coach.
Yeah, you know. Union County is a very physical team, so we have to come out and match their physicality. And you know, we're much improved from last year. Our defense flies around. Our offense is a bit clicking this year. So you know, they were undefeated last year coming into this game as well, and we were sitting at 2-2. So we're in a little bit better situation as far as how we believe and how we fly around and play on the football field than last year. So hopefully it's a good one.
And we're improving every week, and it looks like most of the other teams in far western Kentucky, however, in Class A, are kind of dropping out of the top 10 in the Associated Press poll. This week, Crittenden, and only the other one that's in the far regions of West Kentucky, will be Campbellsville, and that's a team we're going to have to keep an eye on because we keep doing what we're supposed to do. Yeah. We'll see Campbellsville
see them later in the playoffs, hopefully.
Russellville, of course, took another loss last week and fell to 2-3, and I can't imagine what's going through their minds down there, but that's another one we want to keep an eye on. First of all, before we get started, I want to get to our trivia question first. We got a really nice trivia question this week. Of course, our historian and statistician extraordinaire, Andy Hunt, he's starting to really dig a little deeper because people are getting the answers so quickly. And I think he may be taking a little bit of offense by it. I don't know. He said, I've got some hard ones. We're going to start. We're going to challenge these people. So that's good. And hey, if you win this, remember, it's a round of golf down at Deer Lakes Golf Course. Includes the golf cart and your green fee. But you have to take your answer out to H&H Supply in Marion, Kentucky, and tell those folks out at H&H Supply the answer, the correct answer, and they will give you a gift certificate for that round of golf. So this week's question is, who is the only Rocket in history to ever score at least 100 points? Okay, the only Rocket to score 100 points in his career, but never scored an offensive touchdown. That's a good question. That's a real good question, Coach Thompson. We'll let them dig around maybe in the bowels of the website where you can maybe check some of this stuff out and get you to peruse all of Andy's historical facts there on the record book. But that's an interesting one. I'm going to run real quick. Want to run through all the scores from last week, and we'll show them on the board here and let everybody take a look at them. But some of interest, of course, we will have Ballard County coming up after Union County. But Union County comes in here this week off of a 59-14 win over Ballard last week. So big win for them. And Ballard, again, they just aren't putting up the points that they have.
That's what's surprising about that score. You know, Ballard's defense typically doesn't stop many people from scoring, but offensively they typically put up points. So to see them not scoring much is you know, it's concerning. It makes you wonder what that offense they have.
And Fulton County beat South Fulton, Tennessee last week, 62-16. That's a score of interest as well, not only because they're in our district, but Fulton County's getting some attention in the poll and even got a first place vote this week in the AP poll. Not sure where that one came from.
Can't get mad at them for winning, you know, as long as they keep winning.
Trigg County won last week 45-16 over Russellville, and that was an interesting score.
Yeah, definitely. You know, you look at what we did to Trigg, and then, you know, I don't don't look at scores as much as one might think, but that score stands out to me because, you know, we beat Trig about like that, and for Russellville to continue to take these hard losses, you know, football is all about matchups, so Trig might match up differently to Russellville than we might, but it's a team that we know that we should be able to go out and play with.
And Fulton City last week forfeited to Todd Central. I guess they had some players who were out, and they only have 11, so when that happens, and I'm sure looking down the road, that's something that could happen when we play them too. We don't need another open week, but we don't know what's going to happen. Also last week, Madisonville beat Hopkins Central. Caldwell County beat Henderson. That was an interesting victory there, and really I think bodes well for us. And then over in that next region over, where we can take a look at some of the teams we might see in the playoffs, Clinton County beat Caverna pretty handily, and Kentucky Country Day. Now they're over the region with Beechwood, but they played Bethlehem and just beat the socks off of Bethlehem, a team that we know pretty well. And Fort Campbell beat Fort Knox 27-12. So Knox, Bethlehem, Caverna, and Campbellsville are some of the potential first-round opponents for us in the playoffs. This week, Coach, Russellville will be at Murray, and man, that doesn't get any easier for those guys. Russellville goes in 2-3. Murray's pretty good. Any of these other games of interest for you? I know Hop Central's got Logan County. That's later in the year for us, the Hopkins Central game, but not much else on the schedule for this coming week that's really of great interest. Ballard Memorial will play Saturday against Barron County down at the center. Let's move right on into the Union County scouting report, if you will. Coach Johns has been over at Union County for the last 3 seasons, and he's got a pretty good football team. I know I've read some articles in various newspapers. Henderson Gleaner had a nice story about Lincoln Sisk, and it quoted the coach about how everybody talked about this team was going to be down this year, going to be a down year for the Braves, but he says they're not.
Yeah, and they watch them on film. They fly around and play football. You know, defensively, they're so fast and they get after it up front. And Lincoln in the middle playing linebacker is kind of like watching Tyler Boone. He's on every tackle. He's so quick. It's hard to catch him in the wrong place. So we have to make sure that we pick him up offensively if we're going to be successful.
Lincoln Sisk, he's a middle linebacker. He's a 3-year starter and a senior. I think he's led the team in tackles the previous 2 seasons. Really a solid player, and he's a guy we'll have to know where he's at.
Yeah, definitely. And it's fun to go out and to go against a good linebacker like that, and just see how you can do different things to see if you can be successful against them. He'll definitely put us to the test.
Mm-hmm. He's not a big guy. He's kind of like Tyler Boone, isn't he?
Yeah, very similar.
And 2 guys who are really helping their football teams right now. Also defensively, Gideon Adams and Brennan Jenkins are pretty good football players for them.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I know a lot of these kids. So the Adams boy, you know, I remember when he was little, from when I was over there. You know, you drive by their yard. He lived in Sturgis. You see him out playing full pad tackle with his brothers. There's a bunch of them, and you knew he was going to grow up and be tough. So it's fun, things like that, to see those guys being successful when you see them when they were little. Kind of like a lot of the kids over here that, you know, may have graduated recently that I remember when I played here. So it's just those stories like that. It's fun to see those guys being successful.
Of course, their quarterback, Solomon Tihan, I believe I'm pronouncing that right. He's 36 for 55. He's thrown 5 interceptions for 792 yards passing and 12 touchdowns. So when they need a touchdown, they're going to the air, aren't they?
Yeah, and it's different than how we do it. They're not a drop back pass team. It's more bootlegs and get him out of the pocket, let him move around and make big plays on the move. So he keeps his eyes downfield and he moves well. So he's one that we'll have to keep contained and make sure that we continue to cover when a play may look to be busted.
And I'm sure he's looking for the Ricketts boy when he gets out there.
Yeah, definitely looking for Day Day. Day Day is a guy that makes plays for him all over the place. They move him out wide, they move him in the slot, they put him in the backfield. He's just a guy that they want to get the ball to because he is a playmaker. And Lincoln's another guy that they throw the ball to. You know, he plays both ways. So you just got to make sure that you continue to cover them when the plays are getting drug out a little bit.
Yeah, I think Lincoln Sisk had 4 touchdowns last week. He's got 5 on the season and 4 last week, so he's a guy that is putting up a lot of points. I think he leads the team in scoring, actually. right now. But yeah, they've got 2 or 3 pretty solid receivers, and the Ricketts boy, he had an older brother or some. Wasn't there another Ricketts that played a few years ago?
I don't know that for sure.
Yeah,
There's
I remember that
Ricketson.
name.
There's a Christian Ricketson.
Maybe that's what I remember.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he wore number 1, I believe. Because the boy got hurt.
Oh yeah, it was Christian.
Yeah,
definitely Christian.
Yeah, he was a good football player. Speaking of injuries, I know this midway, getting close to midway to the of the season, and daggum, they're piling up, aren't they, Coach?
Definitely. It's hard. Football's a physical sport, so things happen. And we got another one that we don't know when we'll be back. Preston had surgery today.
Preston Turley.
So he's out and at home recovering. Surgery went well, and then Caden, he's the other one I'm talking about. We don't know how long it'll be. It could be the rest of the year. It could be playoffs. But he's got a stress fracture in his lower back. So
Caden McAllister, your rocket backer, your hybrid backer, and that's a position that's tough to find the right kind of kid to play. And you got to be an athlete.
Yeah, you got to be able to play on top of the defense as well as in the box. So Mitchell will continue filling that role.
Mitchell Joyce
going forward. Some other injuries, I just before I came out here talked to Jagger.
Jagger Hayes.
He's looking at about 3 weeks to see how his bones heal in his hand.
I don't think we reported that yet. He broke his hand.
Well, it happened on Monday night. So in the JV game, it's just a waiting game to see how it starts to heal, just to determine how long he'll be out.
Is that one of those things you can wrap up and go, or
after we see how it's healing? I don't know if that's a possibility right now. It's just a waiting game for him. So.
Yeah.
Dylan Yates is one who in practice failed just right, and kind of bruised his tailbone a little bit, but I think he's okay to go this week.
Dylan's one of those guys who adds some depth and gets
depth
in
to
there.
our line on both sides of the ball. He's a guy who as a freshman, stepped in. Every year you think who's going to be that freshman. He's one of those guys this year that steps in and fills a lot of roles for us. So he's one that we hope everything's okay and he's able to play this week. And then Chase Stevens is the other one.
Chase Stevens, another guy, comes off the sideline, fills some time.
Yeah, he's a guy that's helped as far as depth, and he's a guy that you can see defensively in that whip role. As far as depth goes with Caden out, he's got a bruised knee, and it's just up in there how long he'll be. I don't think there's anything serious in there at this point, but it's just rest to make sure that we recover.
Now, how many of these guys will be out this week?
Just for sure the Crittenden, Preston, and Jagger.
Jagger, for sure. And then, of course, we should be getting Devin Nesbitt back this week, and Lathan Easley. And Lathan will be an important part of that. Of course, Lathan plays the nose guard, and he's a quick guy up there. And
his motor is what we miss. You miss a guy like that, he just goes.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about the situation, score, any of that. He just goes because that's what he's taught to do. He's taught to just go all out every play, and that's what he does. So you miss a guy like that when he's not in there because you can feed off that.
I noticed that at practice earlier today, you got him working him a little bit into the offense.
Yeah, we have so many guys we talk about. We have all this depth, and we need to be able to use those guys. So each guy's good at something different, and we want to make sure that we can put them on the field at different times and utilize their skill set. So he's one of those guys. So we might see him do some different things for us on offense as well.
Yeah, he's got some speed.
Yeah, it's deceptive. He gets in the open field, he gets out there a little ways. you don't see that you don't look at him and see him as being fast. So he does move well.
And I know Tyler Boone, you're moving him around and maybe giving him a little bit more of a role in the offense now.
Yeah, Tyler's a guy that you just, as a coach, you're like, he's got to touch the ball so many times a game. So just finding different ways to utilize him it has been something I've tried to make sure that I do in my game plan going forward the rest of the year. In some weeks it'll be more than others, but he's a guy that goes hard, and he's a mismatch for a lot of people. So if we can find those mismatches, we're going to make sure that we utilize them in attack.
Anybody else that we may not talk about very often that's out there and filling in maybe some of these roles for these injured guys, or somebody's just stepping up in another position that
Travis Guess is a kid. He's very athletic. He's played wide out for us, and he's also played in the backfield, and he's a guy that we can put in both in a varsity game and feel comfortable. You've seen him play some corner this year, and it's just for him, he hasn't played that many years, so it's trying to get him comfortable with what we're doing, and just understanding the football world, because it's a little bit different. But athletically and skill-wise, he has it, and we just got to make him believe that. So he's a guy that you could see start doing more things.
I noticed he limped off the field at last Friday's game, but I guess he's okay.
Yeah, he's okay. He's all right.
He's a guy that gets in there at the end of the game and kind of cleans things up, doesn't he, from the backfield?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And he's very athletic. He can make big plays. So we got to make sure that we continue his growth process.
I guess one of the big questions this week is Devin Nesbitt back 100%?
Yes, he's back 100%. And the concussion protocol, he's been through it. He's 100% good to go. Yeah. No questions, no limitations. He's good to go.
And of course, sometimes we fail to mention those guys that are there every day. Hunter Boone, Dossett, Lamey, Riley, and the list goes on and on. Gavin Dickerson, those guys, man, they're consistent, they're solid day after day. And we've got Ethan Dossett has gone into the broadcasting, so we're going to see about Jake Gibson and Ethan Dossett's potential for a broadcasting career after their sporting careers are over. They have put together a little interview, and we're going to go out to the lunchroom and let them interview Miss Irvin, the new Crittenden County High School principal, and I think they had some fun, and we're going to see what it's like to have lunch out at the high school cafeteria. And I know that's part of your duty during the day. You're the lunchroom
monitor. I'm in there for both lunches, and I like being in there. It's an opportunity to be in there with kids I don't see that often. So.
Well, also this week, I know you cringe a little bit about this with Uncle Mark, but this time he has his daughter with him, so
that's even worse.
Emma, and we're going to hear a little bit from Uncle Mark and Emma, another episode of looking at Sean's background and what he's like off the football field. We see him on the football field every Friday night, and if you go out to practice, you see that Sean Thompson, but we're hearing a little bit about what he's like off the football field. And I know you've been dealing with a little bit of pain too. You got a little something going on there.
Yeah, you got a case of shingles. Trying to
recover.
Not good. No, it is not. I would not wish that on anyone, but I think I'm on the uptick now, so I think I'll be all right.
That's
but
good.
Last week was a process.
Yeah, I hope we didn't violate any medical rules about telling them. I know they're pretty strict on the HIPAA stuff now. But we hope you recover from all that. And we've got Union County coming in this week. Union County's undefeated. They've beaten Marion County, Webster County, Madisonville, and Ballard Memorial. But I guess out of all those, every team on their schedule that they've beaten only has one win other than Madisonville. And I'd say that's their signature win, Coach. And they came from behind to win that one.
Yeah, and that's an impressive win. It's one that, opens our eyes as coaches when we look at Union County and try to scout and see what they're really about. So they're going to be a tough team and physical team, and they're not going to come in and make it easy for us. We're going to have to work for everything that we get and make sure that we come in ready to play.
We know the Braves are always a physical football team, always put good athletes on the field, and we'll need our best game Friday night.
Definitely.
All right, we'll see you out at Rocket Stadium, 7 p.m. kickoff for this football game this week. Before we take off, let's visit with Uncle Mark, and then we're going to go out to the cafeteria. See you Friday night.
One more thing about Sean. I want to bring my daughter Emma in. This is Sean's first cousin, Emma. And, Emma, what's it like going to high school there in Crittenden with your cousin being the head football coach?
Well, we've had a couple conversations about it, and he's told me to keep my nose out of his locker room, and sometimes he comes and steals my lunch during lunchtime, but it's a challenge, that's for sure.
I've told him to make sure that to help keep the boys away. What's he do with that?
Yeah, I think he's given his players a couple speeches about staying away from us freshman girls, especially me.
Well, Sean loves to tease Emma, and I can imagine it's not a lot that he puts a lot of pressure on her at school because he likes to tease everybody. If he's teasing you, he likes you. So keep that in mind.
This is Ethan Dossett and
Gibson.
And we're reporting from the cafeteria here at Crittenden County High School with our new principal, Miss Earth.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. You came to Crittenden last year and now you're already the principal. Pretty quick rise in the ranks. In football, it's kind of called a phenom, right?
Well, it might be called that in football. I don't think that would be what it would be called for me. I started in education in probably 2002, actually. It was just a means as a single mom to help pay the bills. And whenever I started there, I found out that I was kind of good at it and I really enjoyed it. So I went back to Murray State, got my bachelor's degree, and after taking some time off to do the mom thing, I ended up at Trigg County and rose through there pretty quickly after 8 years, and then was hired over here as the. And with Mr. Brown leaving, I know the district and the school and community wanted somebody that they knew and that they could trust, and luckily I was the choice for that.
If you were a football player, which position would you want to be?
Well, I would want to be the wide receiver, definitely.
That's what I like to hear. Now, which one do you think you would be?
I would probably be the quarterback, just making sure everybody was doing what they were supposed to be doing and going where they needed to be.
If you were the coach of the Crittenden County Rockets, would you be a disciplinarian, an old school type of coach, or would you be the players' coach who tried to be loved by everybody?
I think I'd rather know what you think I would be.
But do you eat lunch in the cafeteria or in your office?
Well, I'm in the cafeteria during lunch every day, and it depends on what we're having. If it's chicken sandwich day, or sometimes torpedo day, or chicken nugget day, I eat in here. Otherwise, I'll steal people's carrots when they're not looking. I'm from Springfield, Illinois, where I played softball, and then when I went to college, my first attempt, I swam. As for following sports in Marshall County, it is soccer, soccer, and more soccer in my family, so that's what I followed for a long time. But I do enjoy football, and I am enjoying watching you guys kick butt this year.
This is Ethan Dossett, along with
Gibson,
reporting from Crittenden County High School with Miss Irvin.